So Fortnite has had live events in every single chapter. So in this video, I want to decide the best live events from every single chapter. Now this video will include OG and remix with chapter 4 and chapter 5 respectively, because it just makes the most sense to do that. And also chapter 4 literally had no events if we don't include OG. But before we get into it, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to help me reach 6,000 subs by the end of the year. Now without further delay, let's get into it. So the best event in chapter 1 I would say is easily the end event, and it's the best for a ton of reasons. Like the build up for this was crazy. We got introduced to 2 more of the 7 right before the event, with the paradigm and the scientists, and we knew that they were building a new rocket to do something with it. And we also got a few visitor tapes that went so hard. Like if you guys haven't heard them yet, you have to check them out after the video. Like they revealed a ton of things. Like there was the end of something that they were talking about, and it just hyped up the event even more. And there were also some leaks that we would leave the island during the event, and it was just so hyped to see. Like you just had to be there. And then the event day came, and it was just perfection. We saw the rocket launch, and there were 6 more rockets that came out of the rifts, and they started flying all over the map. But eventually they swarmed the meteor and unfroze it from time somehow, and it opened a rift, and then it went to the rift, and then for a moment nothing was there, nothing was happening, until the rift opened right over the 0 point, and a rocket smashed right into the bubble, sending us flying back, and the meteor slowly dropped into the 0 point, creating a beautiful black hole, and it consumed us. And then there was nothing. And that event was just pure cinema, and the aftermath will go down in history with a bunch of news headlines talking about Fortnite ending, and the videos would show up of kids destroying TVs because of it. And it was just a time to remember. Like there was nothing like this ever before in gaming history, so no one knew what was happening. But then we started getting codes from the black hole, and they were like messages from the 7, and eventually there was a leak for Fortnite chapter 2, and the map also got leaked. Those 3 days of hype were just peak Fortnite. Like they would never be topped ever. Now on to chapter 2, and the event I chose was end event chapter 2, and honestly I would say this is the best event in Fortnite history, because we actually had a sense of a story in chapter 2. Like we got like the IO and like the 7, and this is what I like to call the peak storyline, which was chapter 2 season 7 through chapter 3 season 2, and it just had everything going for it. Like the last reality was shown to be an actual threat, so we didn't know how we would be able to defeat them, and there was a ton of hype for this event. And then the event day came in. The start was just us shooting some cube monsters while the cube queen charged up and then opened up portals to show a ton of different motherships, and even one of them was shown to be insanely strong like in the last season, so showing all those bigger motherships in the massive cube cradle, which is a sight to see. But then the 7 came and took us under the map, and then the Foundation freed Jonesy from Sloan, and we got the rock face reveal, which was a very hype moment, but unfortunately kind of killed the storyline in the long run because he's way too busy to keep playing the Foundation. But in the moment it was very cool. Then the scientists met up with Jones and the Foundation, and they started to flip the island until a cube monster broke through the glass and took us into the water, where we saw the most cinematic shot in all of Fortnite, with the map flipping over and the portal in the background with the cube queen's laser tilted. It just looked phenomenal, and the map was like putting the cube queens to the water, and the portal closed and the sky cleared, and all of that just looked fantastic. And the aftermath of the event had us on driftwood, like going towards the chapter 3 map, and the event was just perfection in every single way, and it was a great way to end the chapter 2 storyline. Now on to chapter 3, and I mean this is a very obvious pick in this collision, because there's no way in hell I'm picking Fracture. And this event was just great all around. It brought back the mech from the second best chapter 1 event, and that was extremely hyped to see, and the redesign of the mech was amazing. And I love the grayish blue and red color scheme that they chose, and the red visor looks really tough as well. And the event was centered around ending the 7 and IO war, and it wrapped it up perfectly. Us controlling the mech was very fun to demolish, like all the tanks and the IO guards like ants. It was so satisfying. Then we got overrun by blimps, and then we almost lost. Then Peely's driving lessons ended up paying off with him giving us a slurp barrel, and it was just a great moment for all the people who were paying attention to the small bits of story throughout the season, and it was just a fun moment for people who weren't even paying attention, so it was just great all around. Then us pulling up the laser sword was such a cool moment, slicing through all the blimps like butter. Like it was extremely satisfying to do that, and blasting the drill with the heart blast was such a cool moment as well. And then almost slicing the collider before falling into the sinkhole was also fantastic. Then us climbing our way towards the like collider crystals and passing the 0 point to show a few things like Star Wars was awesome as well. Then crushing Sloan with the tank was a funny way to get rid of her, and I'm happy that wasn't where her story ended, but they did kind of waste her in chapter 4. But I mean, it was cool that they didn't kill her off there. Then seeing a silhouette of Geno, the main big bad, and Jones in the Foundation following him was very hype. I'm sad that whole plot point was resolved in a comic and not in game, but it was still pretty cool to see. And the Collider being destroyed in the end of it was a great way to show off the end of the IO. But I'm so mad that the 7's ending was spoiled by the crown. Like, it was such a lazy way to end off their characters. But the event all around is just fire. Like, I would say it's a 9 out of 10. It was very good. Now on to chapter 4, and take a wild guess what I'm gonna pick. If you said the Big Bang event, you'd be right, because that's literally the only option to pick from. And it was a pretty good event, especially the first bit with the Rihanna, the end event. But when we got stuck in, it showed this like trippy effect before sending us into different realities, which were totally not just promotion for the chapter 5 modes. But even though they were just promotions, it was still kind of cool to see the M&M contra. Like, I really enjoyed that part. Like, the ending showing us flying past the different realities was also very cool. And like, this event was all around just product placement, but it had some cool moments in it, but it still gets a solid 7 out of 10 from me. Now on to chapter 5, and most of the events in this chapter were just mini events, which were so cool, but nowhere near as big as the actual events. But we also did get the remix event, and that's why I'm picking for the best event this chapter. All the different parts were pretty fun. Like, the Snoops part was cool, the Eminem versus Meg fight was also cool, the Ice Bios one was okay, I didn't really care for that one, and the Juice WRLD event was pretty great as well. But this had nothing for the story, and it was really just a big contra, which was cool, but not having the story elements, like, it missed that X factor for me. But there were also some cool visuals here, like, so all around I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 as well. Now on to chapter 6, and we recently got a new event being the Kraken event, which is cool and is pretty overhated, but I'm not picking it as the best one because we got the Shogun X versus Dago fight, and this was pure cinema. The fight choreography here was fantastic. Like, I love how fast paced the fight went, and they were doing move after move and going all out. Like, seeing Dago get his ass whooped was pretty fun. Like, bro got impact framed, he was getting choked, and he definitely should have lost. I'm not gonna lie, he was getting pieced up. But when he slashed Shogun X, like, the souls coming out of him and the portal exploding was just very cinematic, and I'm giving this event an 8 out of 10. It was pretty fire, but kind of short. And that's the end of my video. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe to help me to 6,000 subs by the end of the year. Also, comment other videos I should do in the future. And lastly, cash at me if you have some extra money you'd like to give. But let's not find me. Goodbye.